Hi, Dr. Yass here. I wanted to talk in this video about a mindset that people have developed which centers their belief system on their pain and whether it will ever be resolved strictly based on a diagnosis. I have been on Reddit, the app, a little bit, and it is quite remarkable in the back pain area that everyone identifies themselves as a herniated disc or a bulging disc or arthritis. They literally see themselves as the diagnosis. And it doesn't matter whether they've started treatment, whether they've already had failed surgeries, whether they've gone to multiple doctors. Their entire existence is the diagnosis that was given. The arthritis, the herniated disc, the stenosis, the pinched nerve, whatever it is. And there's no question that this is reaffirmed by the medical system, because the medical system only sees you based on that diagnosis, because that was what was derived from the MRI. And since the MRI is God's way in their mind of identifying the cause of your pain, well, then you are just a herniated disc, stenosis, or arthritis. And in the medical establishment's viewpoint, that means ultimately either you will reach the point that you will get surgery, or you're going to just live in pain forever. And this holds true even if you've had a failed surgery. They still think the next surgery is going to be the answer, because you are nothing more than a herniated disc, pinched nerve, stenosis, or arthritis. And you see people talking to one another, and they talk to themselves as if they're all synonymous. They all have a pinched nerve. So tell me what you've been doing. Oh, I have stenosis and I've gotten surgery and it failed. Oh, I've got stenosis and it failed too. What are your plans? Do you plan on getting another surgery? Or have you tried the epidural nerve block? Have you tried? And it just goes on and on and on. This cycle of babble amongst practitioners and poor innocent people who now believe that their symptoms, regardless of what they are coming from this diagnosis. And I don't ever blame the individual. They are the resultant of a failed system. The psychotic practitioner is the one that's willing to accept the diagnosis. And this doesn't just go for the surgeon. This goes for physical therapists, chiropractors. Some lady contacted me. This is how sick the world has gotten. She said she was doing an exercise, and after the exercise, she felt numbness running from her elbow to her ring finger and pinky. She was already receiving physical therapy for something else, mentions this to the physical therapist. Instantly, oh, it must be coming from your neck. You need an MRI. No attempt to understand the symptom. The fact that she got this symptom after performing an exercise, which would certainly imply that there's a muscular component to this, is ignored. It's a blind faith. It is a cult-like belief that the magic God MRI will know what's causing your problem. So we don't need to evaluate. We don't need to look at the symptom. It doesn't matter. She said she went to a chiropractor as well. Same situation. Told she needed an MRI of the neck. I had explained to her that there's a high probability there was a muscular cause. And in fact, the ulnar nerve, which innervates the ring finger and pinky, runs through the flexor group of the forearm here. And if those muscles were to strain, they could thicken in and pinch on the ulnar nerve, which would have led to a muscular cause creating a neurological symptom, one of the four primary muscular causes of pain. So she would have had to have resolved the muscular deficit to resolve the neurological symptom. She goes back to the physical therapist. I now also had mentioned that was a possibility, but also she may have strained a muscle in the upper back. The rotator cuff muscles actually can refer symptoms through trigger points in the muscle to the hand. So I think it's the teres minor can actually refer symptoms down to that same area, the ring finger and pinky. So I suggested maybe it's coming from the upper back as well, the muscles. She goes back to the physical therapist, apparently mentions that it could be from the muscles, and the physical therapist says, oh yeah, there are nerves from the thoracic spine that innervate those muscles. You need an MRI of the thoracic spine. So a muscle can strain and elicit symptoms, apparently, based on this physical therapist. It's always nerves. Why? Because that's the education they're given. The physical therapist is part of the medical establishment. The medical establishment's belief is that the MRI for 40 years has been identifying the cause of pain as being structural from the spine in most cases when it comes to pain, and therefore, that must be right. The failure rates, the inability to get anyone's pain resolved, the epidemic of pain, the epidemic of opioid use due to the inability to resolve pain, the failure rates in surgeries, the use of the diagnosis, failed back surgery syndrome, don't mean anything. It must still be correct. And even within this case, this lady's no better from a year or 2 years or 5 years of therapy with this woman, with this therapist. But still just keep babbling the same nonsense. Folks, you got to get it through your head that diagnosis is meaningless. It has nothing to do with the cause of your pain. The structural variations identified most likely were there for years, if not decades, prior to you having your pain. Therefore, it cannot be the cause of your pain. The number of people who don't have pain, who have the same structural variations, is almost equal. How can you justify that it causes pain in the person who has pain when the same thing can be found, and in many cases at a more extreme level of structural variation, in those who have no pain? It's just you got to start getting this through your head. Muscular causes don't show up on diagnostic tests. So if there is a muscular cause, then it will not show up, but the structural variation will show up. Therefore, they will say it's the structural variation. You got to get smart. You got to start using your brains, folks. It's up to you. Trust me. You listen, go on Reddit, go on back pain, go on arthritis, go on any of these little subreddit things, and you're going to see people are struggling because they can't get the answers they need. They are in a fog of disbelief that there's possibly a muscular cause because it's never identified to them. It's really, for someone of my nature, unbelievably disheartening and sad to see all these people kind of floating in this fog of just meaningless information that will never help anyone be able to resolve their pain. You have to see this as a potential that diagnosis is meaningless and that you are not a herniated disc. You are not stenosis. You are a person who is trying to perform functional activities and are eliciting symptoms when trying to do so. That would guarantee you that the cause of your pain is muscular. And you need to seek somebody who can identify it through a proper physical evaluation, which is at the core of the Yass method. And if it is muscular, understand how to do the proper exercises using progressive resistance. Not generic exercise, not calisthenics, not aquatherapy, none of this nonsense. You need to isolate muscles and get them to be stronger until their force output is greater than the force requirement of the activities being performed. That's how you become pain-free and fully functional, all right? I believe in you. I believe you're smarter. I believe that you can find your way to this understanding and allow it to get you back to the life you so justly deserve. If you like this video and it makes sense to you, please give it a thumbs up. If you like my YouTube channel, Dr. Mitchell Yass, please subscribe so you can get notifications when new videos are added or when I'm live on YouTube. If you want to get in touch with me, you can do so through my email address, drmitch@mitchellyass.com, DRMITCH @mitchellyass.com, drmitch@mitchellyass.com. Come on, folks, let's work together. Let's change the trajectory of chronic pain. Let's get the number of cases going down. Let's get people back to the lives that they so justly deserve and can reach fairly easily with the right understanding and the right treatment mode. It's the Yass method. All right, for now, Dr. Mitchell Yass wishing you a pain-free, fully functional life. Bye-bye for now.